friends. Hello, internet. Hello, strangers. My name is Alaya, and this video is an embodiment practice for trans grief. Maybe also trans anger and trans joy and trans hurt and trans frustration and trans confusion. In the end, all of it, to some extent, has something to do with grief. The grief or grieving of the lack of space for these feelings, the ways that we have to swallow a lot of our feelings, a lot of ourselves, a lot of our dreams and ideas, and maybe even maybe even grief about how we thought we had to protect ourselves, and where we and the ways that we were taught to kind of fear the world and expect the worst, and then realizing that maybe you wouldn't have had to do that in the first place, and that maybe there's some grief there. But yeah, so all feelings are welcome. I'm framing it as grief because that's how I understand it and how it feels to me. But any and all difficult feelings you have as a trans person, as someone who experiences the world as a trans and or gender nonconforming person, or who is affected by transphobia. I welcome all of that. This is the space for you and all of your uncomfortable and ugly feelings. Maybe it's even like resentment and hatred. I don't know. But yeah, I just as a kind of a context for this video, what I was doing before I turned on my phone camera to speak into it. I was just doing a yoga video with Jessamine Stanley on the underbelly yoga. I think I was doing the one on the High Priestess card. I love Jessamine's, I love the underbelly yoga, and I especially love the Major Arcana series. And I also very much, I think there's there's a big part of me that identifies with the High Priestess. Anyway, so that was what I was doing before, and I actually had a really hard time getting on the mat today. I usually try to do my yoga asana practice in the mornings. But yeah, sometimes mornings go a bit differently. But yeah, I generally, I've had a bit of a hard time getting on my mat and doing my practice over the last couple of days, and I think that's why it was extra hard today. The more days that I don't really make time to do my practice, the harder it gets, the more my body kind of resists, and kind of tenses up and is scared that it won't be able to handle whatever emotions and thoughts and feelings it might be confronted with. But as always, it was a very very good decision, and I really benefited from the class. and And especially towards the end of the class, I noticed a lot of grief coming up, and kind of noticed my thoughts circling around a conversation I had this morning at the dog park. I actually also made a video sort of about that. I didn't really go into detail on the conversation itself, but it was more of a whatever. You can watch that video. I'll link it in the description. But basically, this morning I was I was kind of roped into a conversation with someone at the dog park where I was confronted with all of the classic anti-trans rhetoric that has been like rampant in the media the past couple of years, like all of the classics. I don't necessarily need to, like, if the person who's watching, if the people who are watching this are trans, or like if you're watching this because you kind of identify with the trans experience, or, and you, yeah, I probably wouldn't have to remind you of that, but I will do that a little bit, because the point of this, I was just gonna say class. This is not a class. I'm just whatever. The point of this video, the point of this practice, is to make space for these feelings that a lot of the time when we happen upon these conversations, these talking points, these rhetorics in everyday life, we don't really actually get to feel them. Either we have, like most of the time when we are confronted with people saying bigoted stuff in real life, we either are kind of forced to swallow our feelings and kind of suppress them and push them down so we can remain sort of like somewhat present and continue having agency in the conversation, in the situation, or we are kind of overwhelmed by like a sympathetic nervous system response by like fight, flight, freeze stuff, which I don't know if the suppressing it might actually kind of fall into that, but that's not really important right now. But so yeah, a lot of the time when like I feel like we talk a lot about, or like, and I don't even know who we is, but yeah, whoever that is, I feel like we talk a lot about these, like, so when it comes to, like, for example, like stuff like trans people in sports, or like, I don't know, just like any type of kind of activating and like also like very warped and distorted and like purposefully kind of scandalizing piece of rhetoric and alleged information about trans people. We spend time, or there's content on kind of how to debunk all of these arguments. I'm also going to link the YouTube channel or some videos of a person that whose name I can't think of right now, but there's a couple of people, there's a bunch of people who are doing amazing kind of like education work online and elsewhere, but There's one person that comes to mind in particular. I'm gonna link their stuff in the video description as well. But yeah, so we spend a lot of time debunking, or like kind of like learning about like ways to debunk these myths and stuff about trans people. And then maybe we also kind of just talk about, or just like talk about it in an enraged way, talk about it like amongst each other why that's bullshit and stuff. But I don't see a lot of content being made, or like just preoccupation with and maybe we also just like, maybe we talk about kind of like what that does to our bodies, how that is like, how like we talk about minority stress maybe, and like we talk about the impact, like the psychological and like physiological and societal and political and economic impact of anti-trans like sentiments and rhetoric. But what we don't really talk about is how to deal with it. How to like, because like we know, like if we know that all like that these things are impacting us, we think that the solution to that is if we just educate people enough. And that's really important. That is super important. But like educating people, first of all, is so laborious. It like, especially if you yourself, like as I like kind of like in the position that I was in this morning, I, as a trans person who like either like the person I was talking to hadn't read me as trans. I like did tell her that I was trans at some point, but because we were all like, I just wasn't experienced, like whatever. That's what I was just gonna. But yeah, so I was in the position of like, as someone who is trans themselves, and even if I wasn't, even if I was the cis person that she kind of assumed me to be, that would still be a hard thing to listen to as someone who loves trans people, who wants like trans people to be okay and to just be allowed to exist in the world like everybody else. And it's just a lot. And like it's important work that like, if we are able to, and I mean sometimes it doesn't even feel like we really have a choice, to be honest. That's the other part. Like, I think I did a good job this morning, but I also didn't really think I had a choice, because I mean I could have not said anything. I could have, whatever. This is again, I'm noticing I'm getting a bit sad. Or so yeah, what I'm trying to say is that like all of the education, all of the debunking and learning how to respond to stuff like that, that's all like well and good, but it doesn't take away from the hurt that has happened and that is continuing to happen. That doesn't like if you hurt, like if you broke your leg doing something, learning about how to like, just like reading a textbook, or kind of learning about how the next time when you do this trick or whatever, you could do it this way so that you don't hurt yourself. Like all of these things are important, but they don't actually address the pain. They don't address what has already happened. They don't address the injury. They don't help with the healing. and if we, and like, we like, and in the video that I posted earlier, I was talking about how, like, if we really, like, if we want to create change, if we want to change people's minds, that is grueling work. That is exhausting work. That is grueling work, because it asks us to have to like make so much space for this other person who is like actively, like, who's like kind of attacking our sense of safety, our nervous system, our sense of belonging in the world, and like who we are and what we believe in, and we have to be able to hold all of that simultaneously. And so, and even if we don't do that, even if I don't spend another second of my life educating people on like queer issues and stuff like that, that doesn't negate all of the hurt that has happened and that will continue to happen, and how that affects us and how that makes us sick. Like, the and there are ways to help us. Like, we are not helpless in the face of difficult emotions. We're not helpless in the face of like mental and emotional and like, I don't know, just like hurt and pain and trauma. There's and just difficult feelings. There's stuff we can do. And one of the most important things that a lot of us never really allow ourselves to do because it feels too dangerous is to feel these feelings, instead of just like constantly like organizing the next protest and like writing the next article and working and doing this and making like doing this advocacy work and education and da. All of these things are important, but they don't, and it's not like they don't help at all, but that's not how you take care of a wound, by working even more. Like, you can't work yourself and advocate yourself out of a wound, out of a hurt, out of a body that has been taught that it's unsafe to feel these feelings. So I've been talking for 18 and a half minutes now, I realize, which is okay. This takes time. And maybe this is, yeah, okay. But yeah, so back to what I was talking about. By this time, you might already be feeling a lot of things in your body. As I am, I'm feeling a lot of things that are hard to hold, that feel too heavy, that feel like too heavy and hollow at the same time. And maybe there's hopelessness, maybe there's just exhaustion and like, I don't know what else there is, but we're like, we can feel these feelings. We can show our bodies that, hey, like, you don't have to like take this hurt and kind of grow a lot of thick skin around it and just store it somewhere in your body and never look at it again, where it then kind of grows into something like chronic, like into chronic pain or stuff like that. Like, we store emotions, we store trauma. Like, I mean, emotions and trauma are not the same thing, but we do store trauma in our body, and we also store like emotions in our body. And if we don't address these emotions, if we don't, like, emotions are basically like energy, right? And if we don't like tend to those emotions, that energy gets stuck in the body somewhere. And that, like, yeah, can have all kinds of like detrimental like impacts. It can like lead to like chronic pain and like other chronic health issues, whether they be physiological or mental, emotional, psychological, or spiritual, or a mix of all of that, because there's not really any hard lines between all of these concepts. That's like a very Western idea of wellness. So what I want to do, what I want to offer is that, and if this is our like, no, you know what? I trust you. So you can do with this video whatever you want. I just talked about some activating stuff, so I would recommend that you stay for a while and not like take all of the feelings and emotions that just came up and turn off this video and push them down again and never look at them again. I would prefer you don't do that, but I'm not the boss of you. And I don't know if you're an adult person, but you're your own person and you can do what you want. This is an invitation. So yeah, if you want to follow my invitation, I would, if you haven't done that yet, I would invite you to get comfortable somewhere, and maybe, so I'm sitting on the floor, I'm sitting on my yoga mat, and I will be moving to the wall in a bit. I will be scooching my butt up against the wall and kind of putting my legs up. So if that is available to you, I highly, highly recommend it. If that is not available to you, you can also find maybe some other piece of furniture to like hold up your legs a bit, or if you don't have any of that, if you're like outside and that's not an option, then you can also just put your legs up in the air without the wall. But I would really recommend the support of a wall that you can lean on. And if for whatever reason that position doesn't work for you, you can also just like lean, like really scooch back to the wall like that, and like sit very tall at the wall, just in some way, basically yeah, so that would be the ideal versions, but if that's not accessible to you, then I would just invite you to find a position where your body feels supported, and really take all the time that you need to get to that position when we get there, or before, I don't know. And obviously you can also pause this video throughout any time if you need more time, or like this is all just a suggestion. So if all you want to do is listen to me, that's great, and then just walk around or whatever, all up to you. So all of this, everything I'm saying is just a suggestion. I'm not in your body, so I don't know what feels good in your body, and yeah. So we're not gonna move around a lot. I really do I really wanna find a way to support the weight of our body in a few different shapes that I haven't all decided on yet. I have decided on this one, but another thing before we move into the embodiment practice and the of it all, maybe get some water, or make sure that, like, maybe think about, like, I definitely, I'm one of those people who doesn't, I always tell my friends to drink water, but I'm really bad at drinking enough water myself, so I'm gonna have a sip of water now. Maybe you want to get something to drink as well. You may also want to put on some alpha waves or other, I don't know, like healing frequencies in the background if that's something that you like. But that's all like very optional, and I'm not gonna do it because I don't know about copyright stuff. Last thing I'm gonna offer or suggest is I brought like my tray of a few candles. They're sneakily in in red, green, and white. If you know, you know. And I'm gonna light these candles. So if you like candles, and light some candles. Maybe you also want to light an incense. Incense, is that what you call it? I think so. Or just make it cozy. Yeah, maybe have some mood lights, some whatever. Just really kind of, I really want this to be a space where you can feel supported in just being here. And I don't know, like, yeah, kind of holding yourself a bit and letting yourself be held by this space, and maybe, yeah, by the I imagining all of the people who might be doing this video as well. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna light some candles. Don't you love the smell of matches? Don't really like how fast they, yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna need another one. Or do I? I don't know. Maybe I can do this. Be cheeky. No. Okay, I think okay. So because I'm not sure if I was like super, so I'm just before we start, I'm just gonna once more offer this intention that this is a space where all of, like, first of all, you belong. All of you belongs. The dark, the light, the ugly, the pretty, the confusing, the clear, the queer, the not queer, the whatever, like every all of you belongs here. The anger, the hurt, the sad, the joy, the frustrating, the frustration, the shame, the all of it. Whatever crunchy feelings you can think of, they all belong here. Because I am of the firm belief that this is one of the most important things we can do for ourselves and each other. That we learn how to be with ourselves, with all of the parts of ourselves, with all of our emotions that a lot of the time just don't, like we're told that they don't get to exist because we have to, like, we're constantly in survival mode. And yeah, so and just before, like one more thing before I start, I'm not a trauma therapist. I'm not a like a I'm not licensed in anything. I'm a social worker. I've been doing yoga for 5 years. I've been in therapy for like well over a decade. Um, I do offer kind of embodiment practice sessions in my work sometimes, and I'm starting to offer them to colleagues. And this is I just benefit a lot from embodiment practice classes. I go to the somatic space provided by the embodied astrology community every Monday, and yeah, those are just some things, so you know what kind of like my my back. Also, I'm actually like in a I started a yoga teacher training course a couple of weeks ago. That being said, I don't know you. I don't know you. I'm not in your body. I don't know what feels okay for you and what doesn't. So I really, yeah, need you to trust yourself to not go anywhere that you can't come out of anymore. I'm not like this is not a dangerous practice, but still like trauma can do a lot of weird things. So if yeah, but I really believe that you and I can do this, that we can, you and I, we can be in our bodies for a bit. And, but it is normal if this is something that you don't do usually, that it's too much, and maybe that you do this for a minute and then you come out again. And that's amazing. It's really hard to be in your body and to witness what's going on in your mind. So even just you listening to me and to this point is really cool, and I'm really grateful for that, for your attention, your time, and your commitment to yourself. Um, okay, I think I've talked enough. Okay, so I have my candles, and I'm going to, yeah, invite you now to move your butt to the wall. I don't know how I'm gonna continue to talk into this. Maybe I'll actually take the mic off and see what happens. I don't know. Okay. Okay, yeah. So you're gonna scoot your butt against the wall. You're gonna see what I'm doing. Maybe I have to like push this down a bit so you can see better. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna. You need to see what works best for you, like which way you can wiggle your butt the closest to the wall. There's, I guess, one of the easier ways would be to kind of try to like lie down like this, and then chew. Okay, this is actually easy. Yeah, so you'll figure out how to do this. Okay, maybe I don't have to get rid of my microphone. Maybe I can just put it here. And yeah, you'll just find your butt against the wall, and you're gonna be annoyed because you're gonna feel like it's not as close as it can get. But it all really doesn't matter. And maybe you also want to, maybe you notice that you might want to try kind of putting a pillow or like a folded blanket underneath your butt so it's like a little more elevated. I'm not going to do that right now because I was doing a bunch of like back bends before, and having my back like straight on the floor feels good right now. And you can figure out where you want to put your hands and arms. You can try to like maybe they want to go in almost like a T shape along like stretched out on either side of your body, or maybe you also want to have your hands kind of like one on top of the other, like sitting over your belly or over your heart or anywhere else. Just try to find a position where you feel like you don't have to like use a lot of effort to hold the position, where you can like really let go and don't have to use a lot of, or like use like, I don't know, muscle or tension to kind of keep yourself in this shape. And also feel free to move, like change out of your shape, or like just switch it up. And like just if you feel like after a while, oh no, my legs are getting, or my feet are getting tingly, maybe you just want to switch it up. Really, it's your choice. I just want you to feel supported, and I really like this position with the legs up the wall. Our legs, our feet, they just, a lot of us spend a lot of time on our feet every day, and there's like, if I imagine being a foot or being feet, there's benefits to that. There's like, that's the body part that like has to carry all of the weight, like, but it's also the body part that is the closest to the earth, and that's benefit in my in my book, like. And your feet are really good at holding us, and sometimes they aren't, but then there are other parts of our body that can like connect us to the earth, and hold our weight, and I don't know, something about gravity. So yeah, once you've arrived in a position that feels good, at this point you probably have. I've been talking for a while. Maybe you can start just noticing your breath. And something that I do whenever I do yoga or any of these practices, I wiggle around. I feel like sometimes it makes me feel a bit self-conscious, because a lot of the time when you like watch people doing yoga, they're just like super still. But that's not me. I wiggle around, and I encourage everyone to wiggle around as much as they need. So yeah, once you've found a comfortable place, and you might want to start just by observing your breath. You don't need to try to modify it in any way. Usually my breath changes once I start like noticing it. But you can really try to find like kind of your baseline of breath, whatever that looks like for you right now, and that will continue to change. But yeah, maybe you can just notice your breath and notice how your body moves, like what parts of your body move when you inhale. And how your body moves when you exhale again. Maybe you are noticing that your inhales are longer or shorter than your exhales, or that you inhale through your mouth and exhale through your mouth, or inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth, or some version of that. You might also notice kind of that there's some sort of a wave that goes through your body when you inhale. Like maybe the wave starts in your tummy and moves up into your chest, and then when you exhale, your chest deflates a little and then your stomach deflates. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's neither. I don't know. Just notice. And I know that that's easier said than done. Our brains, our minds are that's what our minds do. They do think. They think a lot. They wander. They have thoughts. And that's okay. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, wherever your mind is, that's perfect. You can just observe. You don't have to judge. You can just observe where it's going. It's kind of like you're watching your mind from the outside. And maybe some thoughts come up that also bring some sort of sensation into your body. Maybe you think about, maybe there's a thought coming to your mind that, about the last time that someone said something bigoted and you didn't know what to respond, and you wanted to respond, and you felt angry at the person and at yourself, or whatever, whatever it is, whatever. And if none of those things come to your mind, that's fine. You get to think about other things. That's okay. Whatever is there. And when a thought enters your mind that comes with some activation, that comes with some emotion, maybe you don't even know it, maybe you can't even pinpoint the emotion at first. Maybe it's hard to give it a name, and that's also not that important, actually. Maybe you can give it a name. Whether you can name it or not, it will translate to something, to a sensation in your body. Maybe you can be a little curious about where you feel that sensation in your body. I definitely, when I started talking about those potential thoughts, I noticed a sensation in my chest. It's hard to describe, but there's something that feels heavy or hard and hollow in a heavy way. It might feel completely different for you. But yeah, whatever it is, just try and be curious. It's just your body doing its thing, and like letting that energy, those emotions, those experiences move through you. And then you can also, if maybe you have lost your connection to your breath, you might want to find that again. Maybe you want to take a deep breath and sigh it out. Maybe we can take a really deep inhale and try to really fill up our entire body, and especially if there's a part of our body or of your body that you noticed kind of contract or tense, or just where the emotion went, maybe we can try and send our breath there, and then sigh it out. You can do that a couple times or once. You don't have to do it along with me. It's a bit hard to talk at the same time as doing the breathing exercise. I was just scanning, or like starting to scan my body a little bit. I was trying to think about what my shoulders are doing. So maybe let's do that together. We can maybe like pay attention to our shoulders. Is there a way that maybe we could relax them even more? Maybe we also need to like tense them up and then relax them to really feel the difference. Sometimes it's hard to tell. So, yeah. Just wiggle around my shoulders a bit. And breathe it out, sigh it out. And then maybe we can, I don't know about I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling my toes or my feet get a little tingly. I think it's still fine, but if we might want to switch positions very soon, if you haven't already. You know what? I'm actually gonna maybe do that. So just maybe you can like swoosh them to the side again. I think I might actually have to do it to the other side because of the microphone. But yeah, try like safely, find a safe way to get up. I'm just gonna sit my butt very close to the wall and kind of cross my shins in front of each other. But you can sit really however you want, or lie down or whatever. Just let your body take a shape that where it feels supported, where you feel supported, where you feel like you can lean on something or let something go, and you don't have to hold it all. And you can also get sloppy. You don't have to like sit super upright. You can like can let your shoulders, can let yourself hunch a bit and just let it get sloppy. Just instantly uses that phrase a lot. I like that. So yeah, so maybe let's just sigh it out. And maybe you can focus in a bit on our face. A lot of the time we carry a lot of tension, not only in our shoulders, but also in our face muscles. Maybe you actually want to touch your face. If you don't like touching your face, you might also just want to kind of touch your energy body, like just hovering your hands, your fingers, I don't know, an inch or so away from your face. I'm gonna touch my face. I'm actually gonna touch my neck, maybe like, and then I don't know, massage my shoulders a little bit. Oh, it feels really nice. Oh, fuck. Yeah, so I just kind of like massaged my shoulders like this. And then I'm gonna maybe go up my neck a bit. If you don't want to like push super hard, if that doesn't feel good, you can also tap. Or you can also just lightly touch and brush. Just experiment with touch or energy, body touch. Just experiment what feels good and like try to touch your body in a way that feels good. God, I could just massage my my shoulders all day. Okay. And also like maybe shake out your hands a bit. And wiggle your shoulders. Maybe do a few cat cows. I realize I just moved away from the face again. We're gonna do the face. I promise. I'm just really feeling some cat cows right now. But yeah, just let your body take the lead. You know what feels good. Okay. Actually gonna get back to the face a little bit. And maybe you wanna find like the place. Oopsie, hello. My dog is saying hi. Maybe you wanna find the place kind of like below your ears, kind of where your jaw, where your jaw meets your ears. And then maybe you want to take like your like pointer and middle finger and like have your pointer finger like behind your ear and your middle finger in front. So you're kind of like making a V shape and your ear is kind of caught in between. And you can like pull down your fingers, like kind of stroke your fingers down your ear, and like in that way, like also like massaging kind of like that spot, like where your ear and your jaw meet a bit. Willi, hallo, alles gut? Maybe then you can just take your fingers down like your jaw and like figure out what's going on there, and like just like don't overdo it. Just like you can just explore your body. Like move. Maybe you can. Maybe you want to move your skin around a bit. Like move up. Which is actually really nice. So like I'm have like my flat hands, and I start at my jawbones, and I'm just gonna smush my skin up my cheeks, and then I move outside and stroke it down kind of like my temples and over my jawbones. I'm gonna do that again. So I'm gonna start with my flat hands you know what? I'm gonna move a bit closer to the camera so you can see better. So, just not set myself on fire. So I have my hands, and I'm gonna put them here. I'm just gonna smush them, and then I'm gonna take them back, like kind of over my temples. And then you can see what feels better, like if it feels good to like draw them down, like right, like back to the back of your head, and then go down like this. Or maybe you want to just like go all the way to your forehead, kind of like you're washing your hair, or I don't know, like doing like a surfer boy move where you like kind of move your fingers through your hair and like yeah. And then you know what, the next thing we're gonna do is actually staying with our open palms a bit. So we're gonna take our palms together and we're gonna rub them and create some heat. And then once we've created some heat, we're gonna take those hands and cup them in front of our face, in front of our eyes, like this, and feel the warmth. And then we can start slightly, maybe like caressing our forehead. You can like massaging our forehead. You can also tap if you want. I think I'm gonna stick with the massaging, and I'm like coming down to my eyebrows and like the space between my eyebrows, and kind of like down, or like the sides of the bridge of my nose, and like really the space here between the eyebrows. And then you can draw, like maybe start like at the side, or like kind of like between the bridge of your nose and your eyes, and then draw up and like the space over your eyebrows. Oh my god, this is so nice. And kind of draw to the sides, to your temples. And maybe this is where we start tapping. I think this would be nice. Yeah, just like start tapping your temples, and then you can go back inside, like kind of the space above your eyebrows, and then going up your forehead a bit. And relax your jaw while you're doing this. And maybe tap down your temples or your jaw, back up your jaw. Maybe also kind of like your cheekbones a bit, and kind of like loosen up. Maybe if you also have seasonal allergies, tapping kind of like your face, like next to your nose like this, can also be really good for loosening up your sinuses, or like not loosening up, whatever the word is. And just see what feels good. Okay, I'm gonna go up back my forehead, and then I'm actually gonna go up the crown of my head to the sides, back up through the crown and to the back of my head, maybe coming like to the front, kind of tapping around my ears, and like down the back of my neck and down the shoulders. And then you can cross your arms so you can reach your shoulders better, and kind of tap down your arms. You know what? We're actually gonna do like each arm individually now. So I usually like to start doing this with my dominant hand, so I end by kind of massaging my dominant hand, but you do you. So I'm gonna take my dominant hand, and I'm gonna just slightly tap. You can also like experiment with a light fist, or maybe even with a palm. I think I'm gonna stick with the tapping. Just tap across your chest, and then kind of up your shoulder a bit, and over over your shoulder, and you're gonna go down kind of like the outside of your upper arm, and then going kind of like the outside of your forearm. Okay, now I'm changing kind of like, and your hand. I've changed my whatever hand form. I'm going up again, like the way we came, and then we're gonna kind of stroke it down. So we can kind of rub. That's the word. We can rub our chest and like rub up our shoulder. Yeah, we can rub our shoulder and rub down our arm, our upper arm over our elbow and our forearm and our fingers. Maybe you can even like massage them a little bit. That would actually be nice. You know what? I'm gonna do that going up again, so I can kind of like squish your hand a bit. You can do that to your fingers. You can like wiggle around each finger a little bit, like each joint. That's really nice. Just wiggle around, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah, and like the space like between here, for me that's always very tight. So like be careful. Don't push too hard. Yeah, and then maybe you can massage our arms going up, kind of just like squeezing our forearm, squeezing our upper arm, squeezing our shoulder, maybe even up our neck a little bit. Oh, squeezing the shoulder. And then we're gonna take our flat palm again. We're gonna brush our arm off. So we're gonna start the same way, starting kind of like with our chest and brushing up to our shoulder, over our shoulder, and brushing down our arm. We're gonna do that again. Brush it down, and the third time, brush it down, and then we're gonna brush it up again to the heart, and again. Brush it up. Again, and one last time. I'm gonna shake out our hands. Shake out our shoulders a little bit. And we're gonna do the other side, but maybe before we do the other side, maybe you can do a little kind of before and after. Maybe you can sense a difference between the hand that was just massaged and touched and the other one has yet to get their treatment. And yeah, and then I'm gonna use our other hand and go down the other side. So I'm gonna start with the light tapping again. And I'm not gonna forget to breathe. It's always hard. I'm gonna tap down, like tap up my shoulder, over my shoulder. And now I'm using my flat palm now. I guess I'm just gonna do this. Do this again. I'm gonna do that again. I don't think we did it twice before. I don't know. I lost a bit. I lost track of what we're doing exactly. I think the next time we're gonna go. Next time. Oh wait, we were rubbing. That's what we were doing. So we're rubbing our chest. And maybe you can also like get into like these spots like a little bit. Like, do you know what I'm like the chest muscles kind of like right where your armpits start. A lot of the time that's kind of like very tight. You can also like spend some time here if you want. All of this, again, like all of this is just a suggestion. If you don't like touching parts of your body, don't do it. yeah, and then so we're rubbing again, and then we're gonna rub up kind of our neck, the shoulder, and kind of rub down our upper arm, and rub down our forearm, and rub over our hand. And then we're gonna start squeezing our hand, like squeezing our hand and kind of wiggling our finger joints. I'm just noticing that this is like, I have a lot more control over what my hand is doing with my dominant hand, obviously. Wiggling the fingers on my right hand is actually much harder. Yeah, and then we're gonna squeeze up. Oh God, I can also do this for a second. Stretching my wrists. I'm gonna squeeze up my forearm. And squeeze up my upper arm. Squeeze my shoulder again. And then we're gonna brush our arm off, like brush it off down 3 times and then brush it up 3 times. So that's the second time and the third time. And then we're gonna brush it up again. And then we're gonna shake it out. Okay. And then we're gonna maybe notice that because we drank some water earlier, we might have to go pee soon. So we're gonna end this with just 3 breaths together. So we're just gonna, again, like, breathe however you can breathe, but if you can try to breathe in through your nose and sigh it out through your mouth. You might also want to try and actually sound when you're breathing out. So maybe you want to breathe. So I don't know, I'll see what comes out. If I'm just sighing, maybe I'll make a noise, who knows. So I'm gonna first let out all of the air, and then I'm gonna breathe in through my nose, filling up my belly, and sigh it out. And maybe also notice that your entire body really wants to move with that sigh. You can really sigh with your entire body. I'm gonna do that another time. I'm gonna breathe in through our nose and really fill up all of like our entire body with our breath. Take a deep breath through the nose. And sigh it out. I'm gonna do one last one, and if you want to, you can join me and like kind of swipe up your arms with your, maybe if you have candles close to you, maybe put them aside a bit, or just move somewhere where you can't accidentally, like, just, I don't know, swipe down, like, whatever. Don't hurt yourself, and don't set your building on fire. That would be great. So if you want to join me for the last one, you want to maybe on our inhale, we're gonna take our arms and like swipe them up so that they meet above. I don't know if you can see it. And then with a sigh, we're just gonna let it all fall. I'm gonna take a, like, breathe in. And let it all out. Maybe this actually works better if we stand up. You can do this standing up. Maybe let's do one last one. Maybe I'm not going to do it standing up because then you can't see me anymore, but I'm going to do it this way. But feel free to stand up and do one last breath together, and then we're done. Then we're done. Okay, I'm gonna breathe in and okay. You did it. We did it. I did it. We all did it. Oh my God. I really hope I'm still talking to someone, because I really enjoyed this. This is nice. Yeah. Feel free to join me in putting your palms over your heart, one on top of the other. Maybe you want to just take another moment or two to thank yourself, thank your body for holding you, for holding all of this grief. And maybe you can sit in the knowing that you're not holding this grief on your own, and that together we can hold a lot. You don't have to hold it all yourself, and you don't have to carry it around with you. There are ways for you to let go of all of the hurt and all of the and it's different for everyone, and it's not easy by all means. This is really hard work. The thing that we just did, however you did, however far you got, even if you're not listening anymore, even if this is really hard work. So I just want you to know that, and I'm so immensely grateful that you're here. I love trans people so much. I think being trans is such a wonderful way to exist in this world. It is so liberating to get to learn yourself in that way. And a lot of the time, the world is so hard and so cruel and so ignorant to the beauty and the joy and that is transness, that is being trans, that is being oneself, that it is difficult to feel that, to find that, to even know that this is there. But this is being trans, that is such a fucking badass thing to be and to do, and to to whatever extent you identify with being trans, whether you're the most out person there is, or whether you're struggling to even tell yourself that you're trans, you're trans enough, and your beingness, all of you is so needed, not in a you need to work and do more kind of way, but in a just you being here, you breathing the same air that I breathe, you being part of this cycle of nature, of life. Every single one of us is important and belongs, and I really hope that I don't only hope, I wish, I intend, I speak into existence that this practice made us all feel a little bit more of that belonging that is always there, that is always our right, and that like sometimes the world is makes us harden so that we don't feel like we drown. But this belonging is always here, and I love you. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for you. I hope I'll see you again sometime. And yeah, I hope that you know that however the rest of your day goes, whatever was before, whatever comes now, this was really, this was for you. This was for you, this was for me, this was for all of us. Because this pain and these feelings and this grief and this anger and all of it, it is here. It's here, whether we look at it or not, and somebody has to feel it. So thank you for feeling it together with me. Okay, so now I'm gonna stop talking, and I'm gonna say bye. I will see you. Bye.